Hello all, welcome to Paritranaya. In this class, we shall discuss about the countries bordering Ukraine. So why is this topic important? Because this topic has repeatedly appeared in the newspaper in the context of Russia-Ukraine war. So why are the countries surrounding Ukraine important? Because in the context of Russia-Ukraine war, we witnessed that few of the Indian students who are studying in Ukraine, they faced problems. So when Russia attacked on Ukraine, so the students returned back to India through various means. So they went to the bordering countries of Ukraine, and to the help of many entities, they finally returned to India. So in this context, repeatedly in the newspaper, the countries which share their border with Ukraine, they used to appear. So from that perspective, and keeping a UPSC exams demand in mind, so it is very much important for us to understand about the countries that share their border with Ukraine. So that's why this topic is very important from exam point of view. So we need to know about the countries sharing their border. So one is Russia. Russia shares its border with Ukraine. Next, Belarus, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Moldova. From exam point of view, so what UPSC focuses, it may focus on the capital cities. So we need to know about the capital cities of these countries. So we know Moscow is the capital of Russia, Minsk is the capital of Belarus, Warsaw is the capital of Poland, Bratislava is the capital of Slovakia, Budapest is capital of Hungary, Bucharest is capital of Romania, Chisinau is capital of Moldova. So UPSC, it often focuses on such kind of aspects. For example, it may give you a list of some pairs wherein it will give you capital cities and the country. So they'll ask us whether the given pair is correctly matched or not. So in order to address such kind of questions, we need to have a perfect knowledge about the countries and the respective capital cities. So in order to tackle such kind of questions, this information is required and will be very much beneficial. So next, apart from the countries, some seas also share their border or surround Ukraine. So which are those seas? Black Sea and Sea of Azov. Okay. So let us try to locate the countries on the map. So it will help us to retain the content for a very long period of time, and it will boost our confidence. Okay. So here, this is our Ukraine. So countries surrounding Ukraine are: one is Russia, next 2 Belarus, 3 Poland, 4th Slovakia. So we should not get confused. There is another country called as Slovenia, and the country which shares a border with Ukraine is Slovakia and not Slovenia. Next we have Hungary, and it is also pronounced as Hungary as well. Next Romania, and here we have Moldova. Okay, Moldova also shares its border with Ukraine. Apart from these countries, Black Sea shares its border with Ukraine, and similarly Sea of Azov touches Ukraine. So all these entities are important from exam point of view. Next, apart from this, another important information is members of NATO and not members of NATO. So the basic reason for the war that is taking place between Ukraine and Russia, it is about joining NATO. So Ukraine, it wants to join NATO. Ukraine, it wants to join NATO. So who is the leader of NATO? USA. But Russia is unhappy of the decision made by Ukraine to join NATO, because Russia and USA, they are rivals. So if Ukraine joins NATO, then Ukraine will become closer to USA and it will become a threat to Russia. So Russia is not a member of NATO, and Russia will never become a member of NATO. So if Ukraine becomes a member of NATO, so overall it will become a threat to Russia. Why Russia? Because Ukraine shares its border with Russia. So that is why the proposal of Ukraine joining NATO is a concern for Russia. That is why Russia has started attacking Ukraine. So in this context, we need to know which are the countries around Ukraine, they are part of NATO. So whether Ukraine is the only country which is bidding to become member of NATO, or already there are other countries which are part of NATO. So out of curiosity, UPSC often focuses on such kind of aspects. So from that context, it is important for us to know that the countries which are members of NATO. countries which share their border with Ukraine and also are members of NATO. So from here we understand that Poland, Slovakia, Hungary and Romania, so they are members of NATO. Poland, Slovakia, Hungary and Romania. So these four countries, they share their border with Ukraine and also at the same time they are members of NATO. So very important. Tomorrow if they ask us a question that which all countries share border with Ukraine and also at the same time they are members of NATO, we should be able to identify these countries. Now Russia, obviously it can never become a member of NATO. But apart from Russia, if you look at Belarus and Moldova, so these two countries, even though they share border with Ukraine, they are not members of NATO. Belarus and Moldova, they are not members of NATO. So again, this information will be beneficial from exam point of view. Next, apart from this, UPSC, it may focus on questions like this. So as one moves from north to south, what is the order of these capital cities encountered? So what is the order of these capital cities encountered? Whether we encounter Moscow first or Warsaw first when we move from north to south. So even this order is important. So on similar kind of aspects, UPSC often focuses. So we should be aware of it. So that's why I have prepared this sequence of cities as they occur as one moves from north to south. So the same information will be beneficial if they ask us a question related to the order of cities encountered as one moves from south to north. So this order will be reversed when one starts moving from south to north. So first we shall go from north to south. So when we are moving from north to south, so the first city or the first place that is encountered is Moscow. Moscow. So here I have taken latitude values. So if by just looking at the plane map, if I try to figure out which comes first and which comes next, then it will be difficult. To build that perfection, I use the values of latitudes. But you need not memorize these latitudes. Okay, just for your reference, I have indicated the latitude values. They are in the decreasing order, indicating that we are moving from north to south. But these values we need not memorize. They are not important from exam point of view. So what is important is this sequence. So first will come Moscow, next will come Minsk, next Warsaw, Kiev, Bratislava, Budapest, Chisinau and Bucharest. So already we have seen that they are the capital cities of which country and all. So that is also beneficial. So here we have seen the occurrence as we move from north to south. Similarly, we need to know about the countries' capitals from west to east. As one moves from west to east, so this is the sequence in which we encounter the capital cities. Similarly, if they ask us from east to west, then the same sequence will become reverse. So Moscow will come first, Kiev will come second, and so on. So here, when we move from west to east, the first capital city that is encountered is Bratislava, next is Budapest, next Warsaw, Bucharest, Minsk, Chisinau, Kiev and Moscow. Here again, to build that perfectness, I use longitude values. Again, these values you need not memorize from exam point of view. So from exam point of view, what is important is this sequence and not these values. Okay. So again, this sequence will help us to address that kind of questions. So this was about the countries surrounding Ukraine. So this is going to benefit tremendously from prelims point of view, and also in the mains answer writing, if you are able to draw the map and represent these things, definitely they will give us extra marks as well. So to put it in a nutshell, it is beneficial from both prelims as well as mains point of view. So similarly, in the forthcoming classes, we will be discussing about the other important international developments that are taking place and that are important for India and also from exam point of view. For all our further updates, subscribe to our channel and hit on the bell icon. Thank you.